especially recently, sort of like, you know, isn't exactly great. Like, even horror fans themselves admit that it's not even recent horror that just sucks, but instead 80% of the time that it sucks.
You're not joking with me? Like, you're 100% serious because it's not funny.
And yeah, nowadays it definitely sucks. Like, before it was Super Weenie Hut Juniors, but horror nowadays is so out of place that even Super Weenie Hut Juniors wouldn't want to be in the same energy field as it. And to be honest, that kind of sucks. Like, yeah, I don't mind having a big old belly laugh at a goofy horror game here and there. I'm sure we can all admit that. But horror games now either rely on something so incredibly unscary that even Flaky from Happy Tree Friends would laugh her butt off, or it's just Mindless Shock Valley that tries to go as far as it can, basically begging you to get scared. I'm not hating on all horror games at all. In fact, some of the most well-received games ever made are horror. I was gonna cover DDLC or I'm Scared since I think those two are horror masterpieces, but yeah, I think I'm a little bit late to the party.
SpongeBob at the Christmas party!
So it had me thinking, what's something else scary that has me shaking my boots? Something that may even shiver my timbers. And then I remembered, the man behind the Slaughter game. It's weird because I've only ever made one video on this franchise, and other than that, I basically never ever mentioned it again. But seriously, this is one of my favorite game franchises ever, and if you disagree, then I don't know. But yeah, honestly, it's really good, and while I do think the franchise ain't what it used to be,
Old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be.
I do think that overall it's still pretty good. But yeah, I'm like on the same boat of people that think the franchise should have ended around like Sister Location. Like, that would have been the greatest finale in anything ever, man. Like, come on. But asking someone what their favorite FNAF game is, they either say the first one because they're playing it safe and don't want to get tackled, or they say FNAF 4. And like, to be fair, it's like one of the scariest games I've ever seen. If 7-year-old me played this game, I would probably look like this. Now, again, about scares, that's one of my only problems about FNAF. Like, it's good, but it never really made my skeleton jump out of my body as it turns inside out while I'm also pooping. DDLC is one of the few games that actually made me do that. However, one game in the franchise makes me feel that way compared to any other. One so good that, okay, it's FNAF 2. Like, I really need to stop making these long intros. Like, I'm making you all really angry, and you probably want to break my fingers or something. I know I've already used the word masterpiece in this video. Like, it's literally one page ago on my script. But dude, this game's like a masterpiece, and I pull a Josh confused face when people say it sucks. FNAF 2 is easily the most mixed received in the franchise, and it's actually the reason I wanted to make this video in the first place. There are other videos calling it a gold mine of a game.
This Mombucks thing is a gold mine.
Or people that like to stomp on its hands and pee in its face. And I find that strange because this is basically one of the few horror games ever that I think has almost no flaws at all. This isn't even nostalgia bias either because like I didn't even play any FNAF games until last year around when the movie trailer was announced. Yes, that's how much of a newborn fetus baby I am to this franchise. Actually, now talking about the game, what makes me like it so much, what makes it the Citizen Kane of the FNAF series, my answer to that is that this is one of the hardest games I have ever played. I think that's 99.9% of the reason why I pulled the SpongeBob yes, yeah, whenever I boot it up. Some of you may be confused because that's usually a reason to hate it, but I think the fact that this game likes to spit in your eye and mess with you is what makes it so amazing. It wants you to suffer and for you to break your computer. Most of the time when video games do this, they don't just do it because, hee hee, funny YouTuber rage reaction. No, it's because they want you to realize the faults that you made and for you to pick yourself up and dive headfirst into the challenge again and again. If you haven't played FNAF 2, which, like, then I don't know why you're here, or maybe you haven't played FNAF 2 in a while. Every animatronic in this game is after you and wants you dead. It starts off simple, with the first few nights usually relying on the 2 vents on each side of the office, teaching you how to use the Freddy mask. But around night 3 is when the game goes screw you and gets all the animatronics after you like in the SpongeBob movie. I am making so many SpongeBob references, I've actually just realized. It's stress that really makes this game stand out. It wants to keep you on your toes and for you to realize how everything works. Night 1 and 2 are perfectly set up, because again, Night 1 teaches you how the animatronics go through the vents, and Night 2 teaches you how they go through the hallway. While these are really simple things to remember, it's the amount of animatronics and keeping them away from you that causes you to be sweating the entire time. Another efficient thing that this game added was to keep the player aware if an animatronic was around. In FNAF 3, this always happens too, but in the first game, the only way you could figure out if an animatronic was near is if you turn the lights on or if you saw Foxy running at you at full speed like Lawrence from Cat in the Hat.
Come back here! I'm on to you, kids! Nothing to see here. Keep moving. Go!
Again, it sounds like that would be a bad thing, but the ambient sound immediately makes your eyes widen because you have to be checking which animatronic could be after you and where they could be. In other words, it's like the game is telling you that something is after you, while not directly telling you who or where they are. That's what causes so much stress. I know it's a huge meme and people are like, whoa, is that the funny sound that plays when big ol' animatronic is meanie beanie? But genuinely, when you're playing this game and that sound plays, you forget the fact that you heard it on an Instagram reel 30 minutes ago and you start screaming for your life. Oh yeah, and speaking of meme sounds.
What? I'm tired. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's a black show. What, I can't be tired at 1 in the morning?
You know how I said this game has a lot of mixed reviews and people like to stick their hand down their throat to purposely throw up on it? Yeah, those people are the same people that think these jump scares suck. But honestly, I'm with the few people that think that not only are these jump scares effective, but the best in the whole franchise. Again, this is more of a personal thing, and the people that do throw up on this game's jump scares is perfectly understandable, and I can sort of get why you might not like them. But dude, Chica's jump scare has my soul screaming at the top of my lungs every single time. The only jump scare that I think is really funny and stupid in this game is Toy Freddy because like, come on. But besides that, every jump scare actually manages to throw me off, and it's all because of uncertainty. For example, in FNAF 1, once you put your camera up and forget to shut the door, you know that you're screwed, so you just accept your fate while you're staring at your computer with a face straighter than the Shelly superhighway. In FNAF 2 though, the animatronics can pull down your camera without you even doing it yourself. And sometimes, maybe you just forget that Foxy's in the hallway, so when you forget to flash the light enough, then he's gonna jump on you like you're in a 5th grade football match. Or maybe the puppet plays his stupid little baby song and then he kills you. Oh yeah, the puppet. Okay, so everything I said sounds stressful, right? All the constant camera checking, trying to scare off the animatronics with your light, trying not to stare at Toy Chica's thighs. They're all super hard things to do. But you see, this game hates you so much to the point that it wants you to do all of this while also winding up a music box. No, it's not just some little doohickey on your desk to tap or something. Not even close, buddy. You gotta flip up your camera, go to cam 11, and wind this music box so this dude doesn't wake up from his nappy wappy. If this music box runs out, the most stress-inducing, terrifying, most anxiety-giving song plays to indicate that he's after you. This is another one of the scariest parts of the game, no doubt. Okay, in all honesty, the first few nights won't be so bad with the music box, but night 5 and night 6 like to torture the player by making this thing reduce faster than Mixel Lego sets in 2014.
Mix battle. You guys go first. I'm sure we're gonna win. Oh, don't be too sure. Mix. Oh, yeah.
Man, everything this game throws you is just, you know, such a pity, you know? Like the night guard just wants peace and quiet. Like, the animatronics really freak him out. Like, almost like they're haunting him every day. This is a good album, I swear to you. And for all the Pitchfork connoisseurs telling me it's not, then how in the mother of pearl does Peppa Pig's album have a better rating than this? Can you just shut up? How'd I go from Freddy Fazbear to Beverly Hills? Okay, now that I've taken my therapy session and forgot everything about Weezer, as I was saying, the puppet, while frustrating, is one of my favorite things implemented into any horror game ever. It's usually rare for a horror game to give the protagonist a side task for them to quickly snap back from one thing to another in order to survive, and trust me, there is no way to avoid the puppet. In fact, almost everything in this game can't be avoided. You have to shine Foxy with a light, or else you're dead. You have to wear a Freddy mask when you see this Duff beer for me, Duff beer for you guy, or else you're dead. You have to let Toy Bonnie pass as he stares at you with his big ol' eyes, or, you guessed it, you're deader than the mermaid from A Tale of Excellence. These things is what makes the game scary. Sure, like I said before, some of the jump scares are bound to throw you off by how unexpected they are. But it's the constant stress of having to do so many things at once, knowing that you'll die if you mess up something for even 1 second that puts the player in a constant fear. It almost feels real, like you're actually there. Speaking of being there, easily up there with FNAF 4, this in my opinion is visually the most terrifying FNAF location in the whole series. Sure, FNAF 1 is super dark and claustrophobic, but at least there's doors. And yeah, FNAF 3 is filled with the constant dread and loneliness, but it's big enough for you to at least hide in one of the areas. FNAF 2 on the other hand, is impossible to hide anywhere from these dudes. They want to drink your blood with a straw. Okay, you know, like off topic time. I've just checked the script, and I'm sorry if it looks like I'm like taking dumps on FNAF 1 and FNAF 3. Like, I actually really like them. They're both great, and like, but here's the way I see it, okay? So imagine FNAF 1 and FNAF 3 aren't bad, but they're more like the roommates, you know? But like FNAF 2 is that one guy that you've been hanging out with like since like 1st grade. Like, you have, like, that kind of bond, if that makes sense. So, yeah, back to the video. The setting in FNAF 2 is filled to the brim with animatronics everywhere. They know every nook and cranny that this place has. The desk is way too small to huddle down in. The vents are a big no unless you want to get dragged by the leg by this guy. And don't think about running down the hallway when this fella's ready to do this in your face. And another thing. It's not just the setting or the animatronics that's horrifying, but the minigames too. Lore-wise, this, once again, is probably the best in the entire series. Every single minigame gives little hints into how much of a, pardon my French, big mean bully this guy is. But what makes these minigames so great is that even without a single drop of blood or any 3D renders, these games tell the player just how twisted of a guy William Afton is. He's not some cheeky guy who likes to ding-dong ditch the neighbor every now and then. No. This dude is an insane serial killer who wants every kid in his restaurant dead. However, they never directly shove this in the player's face. It's not like, by the way, this guy, he kills people, but rather you have to watch and analyze what's happening carefully. You eventually uncover the meaning behind the minigames. 10-year-old me probably would have thought that this kid was turning into a member of the Blue Man Group and then fell asleep, but it's all about analyzing and uncovering that makes these minigames so iconic. No doors, only a flashlight, the sound of ambience looping over and over, the phone guy fearing for your safety, constantly winding up the music box, putting on the Freddy mask when death stares you in the face. All these things are what make FNAF 2 so amazing. FNAF 2 just does so many things right that it's actually difficult to find any major or minor flaws with the game. With that said though, is FNAF 2 on the same boat of horror masterpieces like DDLC, I'm Scared, or heck even Baldi's Basics Plus? The hard to admit truth is, probably not. Does that mean that this game is secretly mid? Not even close, man! This game does so many things incredible, and no one can tell me otherwise. While these other games take these Oscars and hold them with honor, FNAF 2 is one of those nominations that while it didn't make it, it was still amazing that it could even be compared to these other games at all. That's not an easy thing to achieve. You see, being a good horror game actually is hard, probably one of the hardest game genres to actually achieve. The point of horror games obviously is to scare people, and what sucks is that so many newer titles just forget this. They think that having a big pink long-legged toy is scary, when if anything, it's not scary, it's just really hot. Oh no, I meant disappointing. Yes, yeah, you guys, you know I meant that. Okay, but for real, the fact that FNAF 2 was able to do so many things right that I even consider it nearly as a masterpiece level as DLC is honestly something I couldn't imagine in my wildest dreams. FNAF has always been good, yes, and the first 5 games are incredible to me. I just never knew it would be near I'm Scared level of perfectivity. Now, if you've watched the whole video and you don't think that FNAF 2 is still the scariest, that's also perfectly fine. Maybe you think Sister Location is the scariest. Heck, maybe you could go as far as to say that Security Breach is the scariest. While I obviously don't agree with those statements, the fact that a franchise can bring so many people together to discuss its fear factor is astonishing. And you know what? It was actually incredible to see what Scott Cawthon was capable of creating. Okay everyone, let's end this off with a tier list. I do tier lists all the time. I don't want this to be forever. Let's just go. FNAF 1, good, but it's not perfect like a lot of people say. I've been talking about this game for like 18 minutes now. I don't know. So that goes in S. 3 is kind of overrated. Like people go, oh, it's the embodiment of fear. Not really, dude. The jump scares, like they're not great. He just walks up to you. FNAF 4 is like almost as good as 2. I might make a video on it. The only thing I don't like about it is that the cupcake jump scare is really stupid. But at the same time, this one is like the Toy Freddy one. That's also really stupid. Sister Location is probably better than FNAF 1. Really underrated. No one talks about it. And I don't really like Ultimate Custom. That kind of sucks. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.